Officer Davis, a very experienced police officer who always follows the rules, saw a fast car on the highway one Sunday afternoon. He quickly chased after it with his siren making a loud noise. When the fast car finally stopped, he went up to it carefully. But who was driving? The man who was driving got even more upset that he was getting a ticket, and Officer Davis was letting the man who just sped past them go. Davis told him to be quiet and quickly gave him his ticket. He wanted to quickly check his high-speed camera. The car had vanished from sight just a few seconds after passing him, and he couldn't see the license plate or even identify the car's make or model. All he knew was that it looked expensive and was completely white. He had set up the camera to take a picture of any speeding car. He was worried that the car might have been too fast for the camera to take a clear picture, but fortunately, that wasn't the case. The camera had captured the last 4 digits of the license plate, which should be sufficient to track it down. Davis waited until the busy traffic time was over and gave a few more tickets for small rule breaking, but he couldn't stop thinking about the white car. He was sure he needed to find it and make the person responsible face the consequences. When Davis returned to the police station, he sat down at the computer right away and began looking for more information. He knew that all cars in America had to be registered in a database, so it shouldn't take long to locate it. He typed in the characters of the number plate he knew and was presented with about 100 results. He was checking them one by one to see if any of them were linked to white cars, and 7 of them were, but only one actually looked like the car Davis had seen that day. It was a brand new white Honda Civic Sport, that it would only be a matter of time now before he could confront this reckless driver. They did not have any information about the buyer as the car had not been bought at all. It had been stolen. Only yesterday, somebody had carjacked the vehicle Friday morning and had not been seen ever since. The dealership had already made a report of it to the police, but they had clearly not acted on it yet. Suddenly, it made sense why the vehicle had been speeding. The highway Davis was patrolling had been located near the edge of the state. The thief had probably wanted to get to the next state over as quickly as possible, as it would then be much more difficult to arrest him. But this also gave Davis the realization that he would probably never see this car again. If the driver was not from around here, what reason would he have to use this highway again? Davis did make a report to the police who were dealing with the stolen car case about the fact that he had seen the vehicle, and he thought that that was it. It only took about a week, again a week of boring highway patrol work for Davis. He had made so many locals angry again and was seriously doubting how long he would be able to keep up this job. But then, during the Friday afternoon rush hours, Davis got a sense of déjà vu. But this time, Davis was not riding up another driver. He was in his police car, waiting to find somebody to give a ticket, and then he heard it coming in the distance, a very familiar roar. Something was absolutely flooring it down the highway, and Davis knew that there was only one car that this could be. The nearest town was about 10 minutes away, and so he still had time to act. After the chopper had arrived and he already had a plan, he needed to stay on the tail of that white Honda until the right time arrived. When he heard on the radio that the chopper had eyes on the vehicle, Davis knew that it was now or never. He gave his car even more gas than before and approached the Honda until he almost hit the bumper. But just before he did, he veered to the left so that the nose of his car came beside the vehicle's rear. Then Davis quickly pulled his car right again. He hit the white Honda's backside hard, which caused both cars to immediately spin out. He closed his eyes and braced himself for the impact. Only seconds later, he was hit in the face with the airbag as the car spun off the road and came to an eventual stop. After realizing what had happened, he realized that he did not feel like he had any serious injuries. So he quickly got out of the car to see what had happened to the white Honda. But then, Davis started to notice a lot more strange things in the car. There was some sort of machine on the floor of the driver's side that was connected to the car with a lot of wires. He still wasn't sure what had exactly happened, but he could hazard a guess that this car was being remotely controlled. Davis was really surprised by what he found. He wondered how this could happen. Who was controlling this car? Or was it some computer program? Davis knew one thing for sure. He needed help from experts right away. The car also had to be moved out of the road quickly because it was causing traffic jams on both sides and long lines of cars were forming. A tow truck from the nearby city came fast to move the car to the side of the road, and the technical support team arrived shortly after. To Davis's surprise, they had seen similar cases a few times before. Many people were experimenting with this technology. Making older cars drive themselves was a big deal for developers, and several independent inventors were working on these kinds of machines. Someone had used one of these self-driving machines to steal cars from dealerships. He likely put those devices in the cars when he was test driving them. People quickly came up with a theory about what was happening. Maybe the person who owned this machine was taking brand new cars for test drives and secretly putting these devices in the cars during the drive. Then, during the night, he could turn on the car and drive away without anyone knowing. He did it because he enjoyed speeding in the car so much, and he thought no one could catch him. And if he ever thought he was going to get caught, he would just drive the car into the water somewhere to destroy the device and the evidence at that spot. That was the person he was really after when he left the highway. He never planned to go to the town. But when Davis crashed into the back of his car, he couldn't move and had to wait for the police to discover the truth. He could have tried to run away, but he thought they would catch him eventually, so he stayed where he was. The man was quickly arrested and is now waiting for a trial because he put many people's lives in danger on the road. Officer Davis now has more respect in his city.